Okay, can everyone see the slideshow?
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay, so thanks for attending. I see a lot of names and faces I recognize, and I see a lot of new people, so that's good. I'm going to do this in two parts. So the first will be a short slide presentation on how to actually install the Survey123 app and the CBI survey. And the second will be a demonstration of how to fill out the app in Survey123. So I'll open my desktop installation and do a quick demonstration with information on how to save and submit your surveys. So I think Mary or Karen mentioned I'll take questions at the end of each part, but go ahead and enter them in the chat while I'm talking, and we'll address them at the end of the slideshow. I put a link to the instructions or to the resources page that Mary sent out in the last LEA newsletter, and the instructions, the PDF of the instructions is there if you don't have them on your computer already. So you can use those instructions and follow along with me as I do the installation steps. And if you can't find it, just send me or Karen an email and we'll send them to you. So Survey123 is a free mobile data collection app. It's created by a company called Esri. It works on most phones, tablets, and computers, and it replaces or complements the paper forms. So we're recommending that people continue to use the paper forms until they're comfortable with the app. Or, you know, I know some of you will use paper forms throughout and then do the data entry after the fact, and that's fine too. However works best for you. You don't need a cellular or Wi-Fi connection while you're at the launch site if you're doing it in the field. The app will store all of the data on your device, and then when you get back home and have a connection, then you can submit it, and it will immediately go up to a cloud database. And from there, it's available for immediate viewing in an online dashboard. And here's the link to this year's dashboard. Some of you are probably familiar with last year's. Let's see. Like I said, you can use it either on a mobile device or on a computer. So I'm going to do quick instructions for both. For the most part, installation should be pretty straightforward, but because of it, if it isn't and you're having trouble tonight with it, because there's so many different phones and operating systems out there, the best thing to do, if you don't get it immediately, is just contact me after the training and we can try to troubleshoot it. And this is a one-time process, these two steps you're going to go through now. So after doing this, should be set for the whole season. Okay, so first I'm going to go through installing on a phone or a tablet. And it's like any other app. If most of you have Android or Apple phones, there's a scattering other devices. So for Android, go to the Google Play Store on your phone and search for Survey123, or you can do Survey123 for ArcGIS. It will come up under either of those. And then you tap Install to download and install it. Similar process for Apple phones and iPads. You're going to open the App Store on your device and search again for Survey123. And I think it now says Get to install or open. If you already have it from last year, then you shouldn't need to do anything. Updates, I believe, on most phones are automatic, so you should have the latest version if you did install it last year, and if you have automatic updates activated on your device. Okay, so if your installation is successful, you should now see a green Survey123 icon on your home screen of your phone. And when you click it, you'll see something similar to this screen over here on the right. And the first thing you'll see is a big white box says sign in with ArcGIS Online. Well, you can ignore that. This is a free public survey. It's anonymous, so you don't need to sign in. Look down at the bottom of the options there, continue without signing in. That's what you'll click to go on and to open up the app. Okay. So now I'm going to go on to installing, installing Survey 123 on a computer. And the quickest way to find the software is in a Google search, type in get Survey 123, or you can go to this link shown up here at the top, and that link is in the instructions. So you can open the instructions up and click on that link. That page, it brings you to, at the left side of that top of the page, it has a button that says see launch and downloads. So you click on that and it brings you down to the very bottom of this resources page. So you should see setting up as a header, and then you'll see 3 columns of installation options. Ignore the ones on the left and the right side of the screen. Those are for different software. You're looking under in the middle column under ArcGIS Survey 123 Field App, and most people are going to be looking for one of the Windows installation files or the Mac OS. And most newer Windows computers are going to be x64, so the first option of the blue links in that list. Older computers might use x86. So if you're not sure what operating system you have, I can't really go through how to find that out right now, but just again, Google how to find out, your Windows operating system. That's the easiest way to do it. Also, it doesn't really matter too much. If you download the wrong one and it doesn't work, you can uninstall it and download the correct one. So it's not a disaster if it doesn't work the first time. Okay, so this is just kind of a close-up of that list of options there, showing the Windows and the Mac OS installation files. So you click on the appropriate one for your computer, and it will download usually to your downloads folder or wherever you opted to save it. So you locate that download folder and double click on the installation file to install it. And then follow the instructions provided in the dialog, the installation dialog. You can accept all of the default options. And for those of you who used it on a computer last year, if you have the older version, the computer software, unlike the phones, doesn't automatically update. So I do recommend updating from this list again if you have an older version. Just because there's new features added all the time, and things improve as they always do. So that's why I recommend that. Okay. So I'm just pausing here if you're following along for those of you who might be doing the installation right now. Okay, I'm gonna continue on. Okay, so if you successfully installed Survey 123, you can close it. You don't actually need it open for this next part. Although if you are on a phone or a tablet, if you're using that, you can keep it open because there's a neat little trick I recently learned about for getting the surveys. Some of you might be familiar with using the camera as a QR code reader, and all this is, you open the camera app on your phone, aim the camera at the QR code either on the screen or in the instructions. You shouldn't need to click the shutter. If the QR code reader is active on your camera, you'll probably see like a little yellow or red box around the QR code on the screen, and you might get a pop-up at the top that says something like website QR code. Tap to open the ArcGIS link in whatever your browser is for iPhone, probably Safari or maybe Chrome. So if that button appears, just click it, and then you'll probably see another dialog box that says Open in Survey 123. Now the other option is, if you on your phone again, open up Survey 123, click to continue without signing in, and it will bring you to an empty My Survey 123 page. This is where all of your surveys will show up once they're downloaded. There's a search bar at the top. You can see the screenshot here. So the search bar over on the right side has a little QR code icon. And if you click on that or tap on that, it should open up another built-in QR code reader. So similar to using your camera, just point it at the QR code and hopefully it will open up the survey. Okay, if that didn't work, that's fine. You don't need to use the QR code. What a QR code is basically a shortcut to a web page, a URL. So this method 2, will bring you to the exact same web page. And what you need to do is open up a browser app. So Safari or Chrome or Edge or whatever other browser, internet browser might be on your phone. And in the address bar at the top, type in this link, bit.ly/main CBI 2021, and it is case sensitive. So just be aware of that. And again, this is really only if your QR code doesn't work. And this would also be the method if you're using a computer. Either enter this link into a browser or click on it to get to the download page. Okay, so this is what you should see if the download link works for you. A page with a green screen saying Open in the Survey 123 Field app at the top, and there should be a pop-up that says Open this page in Survey 123, and just hit Open if you see that. If you don't see this white pop-up box here, click on the white square in the actual page up at the top of the page. And that will download and unpack the CBI survey into Survey 123. Pop-up blockers, if you have any installed on your browser, may sometimes interfere with this download. So if you have something like AdBlock Plus or another pop-up blocker on, try turning that off or try using a different browser. And again, here is the link for the survey. Okay. So that should be all you need to do, is download the Survey 123 and download the CBI app, CBI survey. If that didn't work for you, I'm going to stop in a few seconds and take questions. And if we're still having difficulty, I'll contact you, or you contact me offline. Okay. If it did work, you should now see the 2021 Main Courtesy Boat Inspection icon on your My Survey 123 homepage. And you can click on that to go to the actual survey homepage. So this gives you, in the middle of the screen here, you should see it says version 2021.1, created March 19th and modified, actually I last modified it today, so this is a little out of date. And at least in the beginning of the season, I'll probably be modifying it pretty frequently because I'm getting new inspector names all the time and adding them to the app. So this, you'll be getting updates pretty much anytime you open it up. You hit the collect button down at the bottom to go on and start entering the data. All right. So here's something that some of you might have seen when you went to collect data. What this means is location inaccessible warning. That just means that the internal location service or GPS inside your computer or your device is turned off. And that's fine. You can just click close to ignore the message, because we don't need that GPS to get the ramp locations. They're already preloaded into the app. But you will see this warning every time you open the app. And so if you do want to get rid of it, I recommend Googling location services and your computer or your device operating system, and learn how to turn on location services, either for everything or just for survey 123.
Yes.
Is it now changing?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Okay. Right. So just to reiterate, down at the bottom, you'll see the collect button, and then you may see other ones. So we're going to start by hitting collect. And now you're in the survey, and there are 3 pages to it. First page is the shift data, shift information. So date, you select the agency first, or the organization. And you do have to do this first so that you get the ramp and the inspector boxes populating right. So we'll go with 7 Lakes. That choosing agency filters out the ramps where you might be working. Choosing the ramp populates the map here with the ramp location. Then you select the inspector name. You can type in to the box to search. So I think Cody's on this call. Cody, to narrow down by any part of the name. And you do have to still select the radio button to properly populate the box. Something new this year is the inspector ID now shows up for you. And this is useful for the dashboard, because we don't put the inspector IDs on the dashboard. We don't put your names on the dashboard. We use the inspector ID. So this is how you can reference your own data. Volunteer or paid, enter your shift start time. Shift start time has to be in 24-hour time. If it's in the morning, it needs a 0 padding at the beginning. Enter the number of trailers. Okay, so that's your shift information. You only need to fill this out once for your day. Now we're going on to page 2, hopefully. Are we all on the inspections page now?
Yes, we are.
Great. Okay. So this is a repeating page. So you are going to basically stay on this page until you've filled out all the individual inspections you do. So the first thing you do is select, did you do any inspections during your shift? So once you've selected yes and started entering data, don't hit no. That will erase everything, unfortunately. But just leave it on yes here, and go on to fill out the inspections. So you, depending on your device, you may see this plus sign here, or it may just start with the inspection form. Click that. The inspections are auto-numbered for you. You have the option of using the current time. So if you click yes, you want to use the current time. And this would be what you do if you're actually at the ramp. It'll autofill the actual current time. But you also have the option, if you're filling out after the fact in the office, select no, and then you can enter the inspection time here. And I do believe I now have a check. So I think the shift start time I used was 0800. So I think 0630, enter, or not. Okay, I thought I had a checker that made sure that your inspection time was actually within the bounds of your shift time, but apparently not. So that's something I need to change. Check whether the boat is motorized or not. If you check no, nothing else happens. If you check yes, you get a couple of additional questions here. You're asked if there's a current milfoil sticker, and you're asked the state and the bow number of the registration number. So you select your state from the drop down. Keep in mind that the state bow number abbreviations don't necessarily match the state postal abbreviations that we're all used to. Specifically, Massachusetts is one of those, so that's going to be a big one for here. But it doesn't matter too much because the full state name is also in the drop-down list, so to reduce confusion there. Go with me. If the boat is motorized but not registered, you can enter NR. NR not registered. So let me go back to main. Okay, and then you input only the bow number, not the state abbreviation again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, AB. Then we're on to the last water body visited questions. If it's the same as the current water body, you just click that and it will automatically fill in current water body name, town, and state. That's easy enough. If the boater answers, it's their first time or they don't know, you can choose that option, the third option, and that, doesn't present you with any more questions below. But if they've been in a different lake in Maine or out of state, you click the middle button and it pops up additional questions for that. So last water body visited, you select from the list. Again, you can type in, if you're not sure of spelling, this helps out a lot. So like Winnipesaukee, 18 billion different ways of spelling it, but if you just type in the first few letters, you'll see the appropriate way. Again, check the radio button to fill it in. For some lakes, it'll fill in a town, but Winnipesaukee is a big lake and there's multiple towns, so you can fill this in if you want to, or you can leave it blank. If you do know the town and the state, it really helps if you do fill them in. Choose whether the boat is entering or leaving. Answer whether plants were found. If no, there's no further questions. If yes, it asks you, was it invasive? Obviously, you're not necessarily going to know at the time whether it is invasive. So you can answer, I don't know, and indicate that it was submitted for identification. Or if it was ID'd on the spot, you can click yes, and it will still ask you who you gave the plant to for ID. So you can select that. All right, and so that's it for the inspection form. If you've got more to do, don't go on to the next page yet. You are going to hit the plus sign here. This 1 of 1 counter means that you've done 1 inspection. So if you want to do a second one, click that and start over. Inspection number 2. Blah, 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 fill it out. I'm not going to actually go through a second inspection. I'm just going to scrap that one. So if you do go on to start another form and realize there's no more inspections to do, just delete it. Delete the last one here. Okay. You can see a list of the inspections you've done. It'll list them by inspection time, registration info, and whether it's entering or leaving. And then you can go on to the final page, enter your shift end time, again in 24-hour time. When did you complete this inspection form? This is really helpful for us to know how and where people are using the app. Helps us to kind of fine-tune things, make it easier for everyone. You can enter comments here. Please only enter comments relevant to your shift or your inspection. So like if there's an error that needs to be fixed, enter it here. If you're having problems with the app, don't enter information about that here because it doesn't necessarily get reviewed that quickly. It will get reviewed at some point, but it could be a couple weeks down the line. So just information here that's helpful to give us more information about your inspections. And that is about it. You can try this out and test out the app. I just ask that you put test in the comments so I know I can get rid of those later on. Okay, so a couple things before I go ahead and submit this. If you're in the middle of filling out an inspection form and you need to pause, you can save it as a draft. Click on the X mark up in the top left corner. You probably don't want to close and lose changes. You want to save in drafts. So that'll bring you back to the home page, and there should now be a drafts box on there, and you can go back in, open that survey up again, and continue. One thing I forgot to mention, it's probably obvious, but anything marked with the red asterisk is a required field, and you have to select something for it. If you don't, when you go to try to submit, you will not be able to, and you'll be brought back to that question and need to answer it before you go on. Okay, so bottom right corner of the screen, there's a check mark, and that is the submit button. I'm going to click that. I'm online. It'll tell you up here your device is online or your device is offline. Because I am online, I can send it now. If you're offline, your only option will be to save it in the outbox. So I'm going to choose that option. So what it's doing is saving it on your device to this outbox folder. And you will need to manually go back in when you do have connection. Go into the outbox and make sure that everything gets sent. So down at the bottom of the screen, there's a send button. And then now it's put that survey into the sent folder. And you can re-access anything you sent. You can hit the sent folder, click on the survey, and you can view it. You can also edit and resend. Be very careful when you do this, though. This does overwrite what's already been submitted. So if there's minor changes you need to make, you can do it this way. Like maybe you made an error with the inspection, with the registration number, you can go in and fix it this way. These changes. So I'm just going to leave that alone, but you can edit. Any major edits, or if it's been a long time since you've submitted, contact one of us, Mary, Karen, or I, and we will actually update the backend database for you. Okay. I believe that's it for the for survey.
Okay. So you ready for a couple questions?
Yes, do some questions and then I can do a quick demo of the dashboard at the end if anyone wants to stick around for that.
They do. They want to see the dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay, so right off the bat, one of the questions was if we open the 2020 app, can we update to the new version through that?
Not really, no. You need to use the new link for the 2021 version. Okay. I might have, actually, hold on a second. I might have gotten tricky last time. Let's see. I'm just downloading the 2021 again to make sure what I did. I know on some things where I've done a new version. Yes, in fact, I did. Okay, so there is a link. If you open up the 2020 app, and you see this notification, please do not use this survey for 2021. It does provide you with a link to download the new one.
Okay, will it delete that one, or is that just updating with that?
It's just adding the new one. You'll
Excellent.
still need to delete the old one.
Okay. All right. The newsletter has a lot of information that Mary sent out, but if you want the inspection form, you can go to the mainlakes.org website. That's LEA's website, Lakes Environmental Association. I copied the link and it's in the chat box, and you can go to that LEA's CBI webpage, and there's a lot of information there, including the inspection form.
Karen, it also includes, I see that Maria is asking about where do we send the plant? So this year,
Yeah.
Lake Stewards of Maine is requesting that people send photos instead of a physical plant. So the link for doing that is also on that webpage that Karen has been mentioning over and over again. So the link
It's at the bottom of the page,
Yeah.
under links. So you're
under
all set
links.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that has the directions of how they want things submitted. So it's good to look that over.
So I just want to reiterate that that is if you think you have a suspicious plant. But before you get to that point of sending it in or starting with a picture to send in, you want to really read their website, and you want to use your resources. You've got a CBI handbook. In the back, it has pictures of the invasive plants and some of the natives. So look at that first and see if it looks suspicious. Anything that looks like a piece of grass or it's not invasive, not here in the state anyhow. So use your resources before you send it off. The link to suspicious plant submission is on LEA's website. Another question is, yes, we will go over the dashboard after this. And then, Becky, if you're entering data offline, when does it upload, or how do you make it happen? Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I don't have an outbox here. So,
they'll have to open it up again. They'll have to open up the app.
Open up the app when you get home, when your phone is back somewhere where you have cell signal. You just need cell signal or Wi-Fi. Look and see if there's an outbox folder here, and if there is anything sitting in it. Open it up, click on the outbox, and at the bottom it will say send. So if you don't have anything to upload, you won't see the outbox. If you do see the outbox, go into it and upload it that way. So it is manual. You do have to remember to do that.
Okay.